Hello everyone, I am thrilled to be part of this 2020 edition of PAK AI. I'm AlainSanchez, EMEA CISO at Fortinet, and I'm coming to you with a subject that is absolutely key to secure the operations today and in the near future, and this is artificial intelligence. Let's come back to what is really the center of our presence, and that is the evolution of the cyber threat. Look at this curve. The red part represents the number of records that have been stolen. And when you look at it, what strikes immediately is that it has grown 3 orders of magnitude in the last 10 years. Very few missions of protections have to deal with an enemy that has grown 3 powers of 10. And that's only the number, the volume of the attacks, the volume of the records that have been stolen. What is even more interesting is the sophistication of these threats. Only 15 years ago, we were talking about amateurs that pride themselves to steal a couple of credentials and maybe sold to the darknet a few financial credentials and credit cards. Today, we have bandit countries that hire professionals to deploy massive attacks of cybersecurity, and many of them are silent now. They go into industrial plants and damage the products, damage the reputation, and have an underground presence. So, in order to deal with the magnitude and the sophistication of these threats, we found that 6 major contributions of cyber technologies are going to be part of the cyber platforms of tomorrow. The first one is the merger of security and networking in one single discipline that we call security-driven networking. That was actually one of the foundations of Fortinet 20 years ago. The second thing is we are dealing with a very distributed architecture where the edge is becoming enormous. We're talking about 20 billion of smart objects. Distributed cloud is also a way to secure the content. Then edge security appears to be one of the challenges for the reason I was mentioning earlier, very important number of devices, and also because at the edge happens now speed, 4G plus and 5G. Hence, it is very important to secure the edge. OT and IT security is also becoming part of our world. In the beginning, as CISOs, we were not very keen to see all these operations, this world that has been invented beside and outside IT, to come back to our world and to be connected to our IT infrastructure. Now, it is happening. And zero trust is probably a great concept, but in a bad word. It doesn't mean that we stop trusting our customers, our vendors, our employees. No, it means that every transaction, every device, every application needs to earn its right to access to the network resources, and that this right is granted in real time. And artificial intelligence operations are at the core of that. Just because the human brain is not fast enough and its memory is not big enough to deal with the volume and the speed of the threat itself. Let us take a look at how it translates into a technology vision. In this graphic, you can see on the left-hand side all these people and all these devices that need to access to the right-hand side of this slide, where all the fancy applications, all the innovation, all the collaborative applications resides in one cloud, in many clouds, in your internal data center, and into any hybridation of the above. And in the middle, you find this concept of security and networking being one discipline that we call security-driven networking, where both components have to be processed as one. And that is underpinned by an advanced security operations precisely propelled by artificial intelligence, a network operations, but that vision of a holistic cybersecurity platform does not mean monopolistic. Fortinet has created a fantastic ecosystem of more than 360 APIs and connectors that enable you to deal with the complexity and the diversity of your install base. In terms of artificial intelligence, a lot of people are talking about artificial intelligence. Now, how do we use it? What can you expect really concretely from artificial intelligence in cybersecurity today? Well, you can expect three different things. The first one is the ability to analyze the behavioral of the users, the device, and your entire network architecture. The way it behaves over time and how it compares to a baseline behavioral. The second element that is immediately impacted by artificial intelligence is the ability to detect malware, to be able to sample very smartly, to detect elementary components before they translate into a threat. And the third element is the web traffic analysis, the ability to look at very high speed in what's coming in and coming out of your network, going to the internet, and analyze it smartly. So when we talk about the user and entity behavioral analysis, the way Fortinet does it is it analyzes the user itself, its own profile, the way it goes about connecting, the device itself, typical elements like the MAC address, the IP range from which it's connected, and what exactly is on this device. Are the OS properly patched? Do we find applications that have nothing to do on a professional PC? Are the exchanges from this PC to the outside made according to the company policy? And then it also analyzes the way this ecosystem between the user and its device demands resources outside and make use of this network analysis. And that three layer enables us to recognize, even if a credential was stolen, an abnormal use and behavior within the network. It's a little bit like someone stole your car key, so the car will start, but the way it's driven doesn't quite look like you. The roads that you are going, the itinerary, the speed, the way you park, the usage, that's not you. And that gap between the way you used to behave and the way you are behaving now, or someone else is behaving on your behalf, is captured by advanced machine learning algorithm, and then they would act upon the firewall. In terms of malware detection, we use neural networks, which is a series of tests that are conducted in different layers. Each of them is specialized in recognizing a certain type of threat and assesses to this particular threat a probability of it to be malicious. And then it goes to another layer that analyzes the probability for some of these elementary tests to detect something that has been seen as legitimate. And every time it happens, a mark is given to those elementary tests, and all the sum of these is done. And when the sum is over a certain threshold, then an action is taken. And this ability to machine learn and to be able to assess a probabilistic number to any of the elementary components that can compose a traffic is something that is reweighted, reanalyzed, reassessed depending on the real environment as it evolves, and bring you a mark, a score, a probabilistic number that is used to control the traffic. And all that happens in a very short amount of time. And the third domain where we would use artificial intelligence is web traffic analysis. And we would do that in 2 steps, 2 layers of machine learning. First, we would compare the application traffic with a series of URLs that are normal or considered benign anomalies or threats. But if you only do that, you would remain into the traffic some anomalies that finally would be false positives, or on the contrary, you could block some of the traffic legitimate. So by doing that, we can re-inject normal and benign traffic back. So we would not block the traffic that is legitimate, even if sometimes it resembles a malicious traffic. I would like you to remember 3 main things. The first one is cybersecurity now needs to have a holistic approach. It's not a series of point solutions anymore for someone else to do the integration later. Later is too late. The solutions need to be natively integrated to be efficient. Second takeaway, artificial intelligence is fundamental to drive security operations. The human brain is just not big enough. And third takeaway, please, is education is key. Anytime someone learns cybersecurity, that person makes our hyper-connected world a better place. And Fortinet has opened for free its network security expert platform that has trained hundreds of thousands of people on cybersecurity. Thank you very much for your attention and have a great PAK AI event.